NBA totals for Sunday, December 4th. We also have our NCAA basketball segment out there. Quite a few early games going on. Not a big card today in the NBA as well as NCAA, as it is, mostly a football day, football Sunday. But I think we got a little bit of value out there. So we got 3 games on the card. Be sure to check out SBR for all the sign-up bonuses, the blacklist, sportsbooks to avoid. All the sportsbooks are there, all the numbers. So be sure to check out our website. I hope you guys are enjoying the segment. Right now we're sitting like right at 500. We're 72 and 73, I believe, on the year. Yeah, we are 72 and 73, right at 500. Yesterday we were 1-1 with a lucky push. Very lucky to get that push on the Lakers. We should have lost that game. And, just kind of can't seem to get back in a groove, but it's been really interesting this year as far as, like I mentioned the other night, about how it's just been like, teams score 60, 70 points and they score 30 points quarter after quarter, back-to-back quarters. It's just been really odd. So hopefully we'll get into a better groove as December continues. But, right around 500. It could be a lot worse. NCAA basketball is going really well, so you might want to check that out. And let's dive in today. We got 3 plays on the card. They're all under. I'm going all under today. I looked at these all hard, and finally I just couldn't pull the trigger on any of the overs. Let's take a look. First, we got Orlando and Detroit, 193.5, and I am going under. Now, these guys played back in late October, one of the first games of the year, to a 108-82 final, and that was also in Detroit, where it is today. But I like for the defenses to step up. Detroit's been playing great defense all year, and I think that's where the number is going to lie at. So we look at, recently you got Orlando, they scored 105 points against Philadelphia. They scored 94 at Memphis, and they scored 95 in an upset of San Antonio. But Detroit's playing better defense than all those teams. So I don't look for Orlando to score over 90 points in this game. And I don't think Detroit's going to go crazy. Let's look at some numbers here. We got Orlando. They're averaging just 93 points per game still. They've won 2 out of their last 3 games, but I don't think it's going to matter today. I think Detroit wins. And I don't think Orlando's going to score. So they're averaging 93 points per game. They're ranked second to last in the NBA. Detroit's averaging 100 points per game. They're ranked 24th. Defensively, you got Detroit. They're allowing just 96.9 points per game. They're ranked second in the league. Orlando's allowing 97.3. They're ranked third in the league. So, Frank Vogel's doing a good job. Stan Van Gundy's doing a good job. 2 of my favorite. Well, Stan Van Gundy's my favorite coach. But, I like Vogel. I think he does a nice job. He's in for it. They don't have a lot with Orlando. I still don't know why they got rid of Tobias Harris. But, Vucevic's tough. I think it's going to stay under. I don't think it's going to go real fast. You got Detroit right now. They're allowing opponents to shoot just 42.9% from the floor, while Orlando's shooting just 41.6% from the floor. Both of those rank second in the league, but opposite ways, if you catch my meaning. Then we look at the other side. Detroit's not particularly lighting it up. I mean, as far as efficiency and effective field goal percentages, they rank 22nd and 20th in the league, respectively. Orlando, they're not the dredge on the defensive side, percentage-wise. Opponents are shooting just 32.8% from distance against them. They're ranked second. And overall, they're allowing opponents to shoot just 43.7%. So this total is actually too high. I don't think they get there. Yeah, 193.5. I think it stays under 190. This is going to be pretty ugly, I think. If, they play to their statistics. But like I said, it's been a crazy year. They might come in and shoot 50% from the floor and over 50% from distance. But I'm going to back under the total on that, like I am every game today. This next one up is going to be a lot faster, but I still like under. I just do. We got 213 with New Orleans and Oklahoma City. You look at Oklahoma City's their last several games. I mean, they would be crushing this total just by how they're scoring. They've scored 126, 112. They scored 106 against Detroit. That's the lowest they've scored their last 4 games because that's Detroit. They're playing great D. And then at Denver, they scored, a million points. They ended up with 132. I don't know if that was overtime or not. I'm not going to check on that. It might have been. That's a lot of points. I think that was overtime. Oh, now I want to check. All right, so I'll be checking on that as we are. Look, that's 132 points. Gosh, that had to be overtime, right? I mean, that's a lot of points. We got time on this segment because we're only covering 3 games. But let's look at some numbers here. We got New Orleans. They're averaging 102.5 points per game. We got OKC, they're averaging 108. New Orleans, surprisingly, only giving up 105.4, much different than last year. OKC, 105.8. The fact that it's OKC makes me kind of want to back under this total because they're playing pretty good defense. I mean, overall, statistically, Oklahoma City, they're allowing opponents to shoot under 45% from the floor. It ranks right in the middle of the league. And this is a high total, 213. Now, New Orleans can score. That is true. Yeah, it was overtime. Yeah, they scored 17 points in overtime. But still, I mean, they still scored 122 points. Okay, that was the Oklahoma City-Denver game. I had to check real quick. New Orleans, you know, I mean, they're getting up 85.7 attempts per game. They're ranked 17th in the league. That's not super fast. OKC's starting to push that tempo, but they're not going astronomically, fast in any way. You got them right now. They're getting up 88.8 attempts. They're ranked fifth in the league. That's a lot. They're going to make some buckets too at 40.8 per game. But New Orleans, I think, is going to do enough to stop them. You look at some of their percentages; they're allowing opponents to shoot just 44.2% from the floor. That ranks 10th in the league, and they know if they're going to compete with OKC, they're going to have to play some defense. On top, the last few times these guys met up this last year, this went well over this total right here at 213. I just don't think it's going to happen today. OKC's getting to the rack like crazy. They're scoring 50.4 points on average in the paint. Gosh, that ranks first in the league. That's really tough. I don't know. I don't think New Orleans can keep up with them. I just don't think I don't see it happen. I mean, OKC, they've been really good defending overall. Opponents are shooting just 49% of their 2-point shots against them, and that's New Orleans' bread and butter, as they're shooting 49.8% from the floor, which ranks 11th in the league. But OKC is going to be able to mitigate that enough. Again, 213, they're going to score because both these teams are good, but ultimately I think we're going to see under that 213. All right. Sorry, I wavered a little bit on that. For me, all these games are under the whole way. Otherwise, I wouldn't. I just keep them off the board. I wouldn't even play them. Okay. I just sometimes when I'm reading the statistics over and over again, there might be one or two statistics where it's just like, wow, really? As you go over, as you guys do when you handicap basketball games and such, just if you're fascinated like me at the numbers, just and then you see how the game turns out and it's not how you anticipated. I just find that really interesting. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's go to our last game up. We got Sacramento, and pull up some more stats here. And New York, 211. I'm going under. Just like I said, with all the plays today. Sacramento, they're averaging 102.6 points per game. New York is averaging 104.2 points per game. That ranks 21st and 15th in the league, respectively. What gives me pause on this game is that New York is going really fast. They're averaging 89 attempts per game. They're ranked second in the league. But Sacramento counters that, allowing opponents just 81.8 attempts per game, which ranks fourth in the league. Neither the Knicks nor the Kings are shooting out of their minds. New York's been shooting the three decently well. But all these stats here, they're really right in the middle of the league. You got Sacramento, they're shooting 44.9% from the floor. That ranks 16th in the league. New York, they're shooting 44.7% from the floor. That ranks 20th in the league. So they're not really, but they are. New York scoring at a much higher clip than I anticipated. They've got to play some better defense. And I think, against Sacramento, a team that goes pretty slow, we're going to see them do that because they're not going to get up and down with the Kings. And the Kings I don't think are efficient enough to go ahead and get into, a fast break game. Points in the paint, New York is not that great. Sacramento's been great defending that area at 38.5 points per game allowed. That ranks third in the league. As well, then you got New York, one of their better categories. They're allowing opponents just over 20 assists per game. Sacramento, they're not moving the ball very well, and they're not scoring a lot of points. Last couple games, at Boston, they scored 92. At Washington, they scored 95. They scored 122 at Brooklyn, who plays no defense. At Houston, they only scored 104, and that's at Houston, a team that really doesn't play defense. So, if New York can play just a little bit of defense and Sacramento gets into a pace they like, I really like this to stay under 211. Out of these three games, the Orlando, Detroit, New Orleans, Oklahoma City, and Sacramento, New York, this is the game that will surprise me the most if it goes over. All right, that being said, let's recap. Here we go. We got Orlando, Detroit under the 193.5, New Orleans, Oklahoma City under the 213, and Sacramento, New York under the 211. So 300 plays in the NBA. Again, we're sitting at 500, so play it, fade it, make a good decision. I do wish you the best of luck. Be sure to check out SBR for all the odds, all the numbers, sign-up bonuses, all the sports book. It's all there at our website. Best of luck.